Stop. Whatever you have in your hands right now, stop. You held your ground when the attack came straight for your children. You carried the weight of fear for them while still carrying your own wounds, your own exhaustion, your own unanswered prayers. You stood in the gap when the gap was costing you everything. This morning, in the courts of heaven, a decree was issued. Michael received a sentence to execute. And that sentence is about you and everyone you love. You didn't end up here because of an algorithm. You arrived because you were chosen to hear what heaven pronounced today. Because here is what no one talks about. The attack on your children, the one that keeps you up at night, the one that makes your chest tighten when you think too long about it. That attack wasn't random. It wasn't bad luck. It wasn't coincidence. The enemy didn't aim at your children because they were easy targets. He aimed at your children because of you, because of who you are, because of what you carry, because a chosen one walking in the purposes of God is the single greatest threat to the kingdom of darkness, and the cruelest strategy available to a defeated enemy is to go after the ones you love most. You felt it, haven't you? That sick, hollow terror in the pit of your stomach, not for yourself but for them, for the child who is struggling or the one who has drifted or the one who is sick in a way that medicine can't quite explain, for the teenager pulling away from everything you've tried to plant in them, for the little one who wakes up screaming from dreams that seem like more than dreams. You've sat in the dark of your own bedroom and asked the question you're almost afraid to say out loud. Did I bring this on them? Is the enemy in my house because of me? That question has weight. It sits on your shoulders like a stone. You put on armor every morning, not for yourself, but for them. You pray, you fast, you declare, you stand. But somewhere underneath all of that standing is a body that is trembling, a heart that is bleeding, her soul that is running on the last drops of something it cannot name. You are exhausted. Not the kind of exhaustion that sleep fixes, the kind that comes from protecting others while no one is covering you, the kind that comes from being the wall while the wall is cracking. And still you get up, still you pray, still you refuse to let the enemy have what belongs to God. That is not weakness. That is the signature of a chosen one. And this morning, heaven responded to that faithfulness. Not tomorrow, not after you've cleaned up your theology or gotten your prayer life more consistent. Today, June 4th. A sentence was pronounced in the courts above, and Michael, the warrior prince, the one who stands at the door between the seen and the unseen, has received his orders. The shield has already come down. It came down over your children. It came down over your home. The question is whether you have ears to hear what has already been decided on your behalf. If you are carrying that weight for your children right now, the fear, the grief, the wondering, the watching, leave a sign down below. That sign is a prophetic agreement with this word. And I pray right now that every chosen one who affirms this word receives clarity in the next 72 hours about the protection heaven has already guaranteed over their own. Let your comment be a prophetic yes. Let it be the moment you agreed with what God has already spoken. This fear for your children has a name, and more importantly, it has a way out. Not a way around, a way through. A path in 3 movements that moves you from trembling to governing, from surviving to standing with authority over the very breaches the enemy tried to exploit. That path is called the Solomon Code, and you'll find it in the first comment right here below. It's pinned. It will be there when this video ends. Here is something worth sitting with for a moment. There was a man who fled into the wilderness with his family, with his people, with everything he loved, and he did not abandon them. He didn't go ahead and send word back later. He stayed. In the caves of Adullam, in the deserts, in the seasons that felt like God had gone silent, David remained. His presence was the covering. His refusal to leave was the protection. And there is something about the leader who stays, the parent who doesn't give up, the chosen one who keeps showing up even when showing up hurts. That becomes its own kind of shield. You staying is not small. You staying is the armor. Now hear what the enemy didn't want you to understand. The attack on your children is not evidence that God has abandoned them. It is confirmation that you are a real and credible threat to the kingdom of darkness. Let that sink in. The enemy does not waste his most sophisticated strategies on people who pose no danger to him. He doesn't go after the children of someone who has already been neutralized. The very fact that he has aimed at what you love most is proof that you have been walking in something that terrifies him. In the 10th chapter of Daniel, the prophet had been fasting and mourning for 3 weeks, 21 days. And during those 21 days, a messenger sent from God was withstood, held back by the prince of the kingdom of Persia. Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help. The battle was real, the delay was real, but the answer had been dispatched on the first day Daniel prayed. The silence was not abandonment, the silence was war, and the same is true for you. The season when heaven seemed quiet over your children, that wasn't God looking away. That was Michael fighting through. Psalm 91 says it plainly, "For he will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. On their hands they will bear you up, lest you strike your foot against a stone." That promise does not expire. It does not have a clause that removes your children from coverage because you stumbled or struggled or went through a dark season. The angels have been commanded. The order was not revoked. And now here is what you can do with that truth tonight. There is a way to come before the courts of heaven, not as a beggar, but as an heir presenting a case. It is not complicated. It requires no theological degree. It requires only a willing heart and the authority that was given to you when you were grafted into the covenant. First, name out loud the specific threat that has been launched against your children. Don't be vague. Illness. Rebellion. A destructive relationship. A spiritual influence you've sensed but couldn't identify. The enemy knows what he sent, and the courts of heaven are not interested in generalities. Name it. Second, bring that accusation before the throne in prayer, not a desperate plea, a legal filing. Father, I bring this accusation before your throne. The enemy tried to destroy those you entrusted to me. He overstepped. He touched what carries your covenant. I am standing before you as a steward of these lives, presenting what has been done against what belongs to you. Third, decree Isaiah 54:17 over each child by name, out loud. No weapon that is fashioned against you shall succeed, and you shall refute every tongue that rises against you in judgment. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their vindication from me, declares the Lord. Speak the name of each child into that verse. Speak it as a decree, not a request. Fourth, receive it. Say out loud, the shield has already come down. The sentence has already been pronounced. I receive the protection that was issued from the courts of heaven on June 4th for my children and my home. You can do this tonight, right now, before you go to sleep. But here is the gap that most people don't see until they've been in the battle long enough. A single decree, even a powerful one, even a true one, doesn't replace a system. The enemy doesn't stop at one attack because you stopped him with one prayer. He scouts for consistency. He looks for patterns. He looks for the places where your discernment is thin and your peace is fractured, because that is where he inserts himself day after day. You don't need more strength to protect your children. You need discernment about what the shield has already guaranteed. Michael has already received the order. Your era of war, the bleeding, the scrambling, the white knuckle holding on, that era is ending. What begins now is the era of governing. Governing your thoughts, governing your peace, governing your home with the quiet, settled authority of someone who knows the verdict has already been issued. What Solomon asked for wasn't power. He didn't ask for wealth or revenge on his enemies or safety from every threat. He asked for discernment. He asked for wisdom to govern what God had already given him. And that request was the most dangerous thing Solomon ever did to the kingdom of darkness. The Solomon Code is built on that same foundation. 3 movements. First, you diagnose the breaches, the specific entry points the enemy has been exploiting in your home, in your children, in your own thought life, with clarity and without condemnation. Second, you quiet the soul, because a mind in constant alarm cannot govern, and you have been in alarm mode for too long. You learn to return to settled ground. Third, a daily Proverbs protocol, not a religious routine, but a living engagement with the wisdom that was written specifically for people who carry responsibility for others. You don't need to be a theologian. You don't need to have it all together before you begin. You begin exactly where you are, with the fear for your children still in your chest, with the exhaustion still in your bones, and with the decree that was issued over you this morning already in effect. The pinned comment below will take you there. Before this video ends, I want you to do something. In the comments, write your city, and next to it, write these 4 words: I know who I am. That's the decree. That's the word you agree with today. I am mapping where this silent army of believing fathers and mothers is being raised up, the chosen ones who refused to let the enemy have their homes, who prayed when they were trembling, who stayed when staying was the hardest thing. If you know someone carrying this fear for their children right now, a friend, a sister, a brother in the faith, share this video. Every share is a seed planted over someone else's household. The Solomon Code will be waiting for you in the pinned comment. I know how these decisions go. You watch, you're moved, you intend to come back, and then life rushes back in and the moment passes. Not because your faith is weak, because exhaustion is real and the enemy knows how to use it. You decide when. But if something in you recognizes this word today, don't let that recognition go cold. The courts of heaven moved this morning. The shield came down. Honor that by stepping into what was prepared for you. May the wisdom from above be the ground your feet stand on today. May your mind be quieted from the noise that has kept you in fear. May your children be covered, not by your perfect prayers or your perfect faithfulness, but by the covenant that cannot be broken, the decree that cannot be overturned, the blood that has already purchased their protection. May every chosen one watching this right now step into the era of governing, rested, discerning, and unafraid. I'll see you in the next